This is Kooks on Camera, and today I'm going to walk you through my best tips on how to find big bucks using trail cameras, also known as game cameras. Got a month till opening archery season starts, and I've gotten some good bucks on camera, but not a lot of daytime photos, and so that's what I'm going to go through today. Because if you're only getting bucks at night at 2 in the morning, then it really doesn't matter if you're getting giants, because you can't hunt them at night. Look at that, acorns. Deer love acorns. First tip is make sure your camera's in an open area. Don't put it up against a bunch of bushes, because the second the wind blows, you're just gonna have a gazillion wind photos. So put it somewhere out here on the open, preferably where 3 or 4 trails meet up, and make sure it's an area where there's deer going around. Find the sign, find the food. Rubs and scrapes are your go-to. They are your best friend when you're trying to find bucks. Bucks will make these rubs, they'll make scrapes, and that kind of sets their territory, and it's easy to find if you know what to look for. And I'll go over that later. Here's my camera, and within 24 hours, I've already gotten like 30 photos of just wind. So what I'm gonna do, instead of putting it there, I'm gonna put it on that tree. Okay, it's been 1 week since I put this camera out. Let's see if there's anything on it. Let's see what we got. Not a lot, I can tell you that. There's a couple does. Oh, decent buck. Now that is a big buck. Oh my gosh, that's a stud. Oh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's sick. That was at 4 in the morning. I don't know if it's worth hunting here, but that's a nice buck. So I'm purposely checking this regular camera before my cell camera, just in case I have any bruisers, because I plan on grabbing my cell camera. But I'm curious to see if this guy picked up any big bucks, so let's find out. Well, not much. I got a couple does, a couple hogs, just a bunch of little baby bucks. And for Florida hunting, any legal buck is a trophy. I mean, I don't care what anyone says, it's the truth. Because it's so hard to find and hunt them down here. But I do want to get a bruiser. I want to get a big 6 or a big 8, and I got a giant 6-point on the cell camera. So you can see, I picked this spot for some obvious reasons, and I do have some deer around. There's the camera right there. And I'll show you some of the pictures I got. By the way, if you recognize this area, the management area I'm in, please don't say anything. It takes a lot of time to come out here and scout, and I'm okay with giving out the knowledge that I've built up over the years, but let's try to keep the management areas on the down low, because there's only so many in Florida. So game cameras are like opening a present on Christmas Day, you know, unless you got the cell cameras. But a traditional, regular $30 or $40 game camera, where you just sit out in the woods and then you have to come back 3 or 4 weeks later to check it out. I love that, because you really don't know what you're gonna get. It could be 100 wind photos of nothing but a bunch of bushes moving around, or you get the biggest buck of your life. Well, just found the first rub of the 2025 hunting season. And I just realized there's a scrape right underneath it. So I'm gonna put a camera up here. Should be getting a buck any day. So last year I was walking around scouting this area, and I found a fresh rub, which now it's, you know, pretty old. A lot of times these bucks will hit rubs from last year, and they'll start hitting those again. And so I'm just checking a couple trees to see if I can find any more that are fresh from this year. It's old. It's also old, but that was one last year. This is brand new. Let's see if we can go ahead and focus. Come on. That's a fresh one, so I'm dripping sweat right now. I don't want to get too close, but I'm going to look around, see if I can find a scrape and a good tree to hang my non-cell camera. I mean, we're right next to the road. And that's another tip. Don't be afraid to scout or hunt right next to the road. These deer are used to it. They don't give a damn. All right, so I got a storm out there, and I did what any good outdoorsman would do, and I broke out the fishing rod. Just got like 20 minutes to kill, so I want to see if I can get myself a bass. God damn it. Okay, screw bass fishing. I was just driving, and I'm pretty darn sure this is a big old rub right here, and it looks like it is. So, you know, it's one thing if it's like 3 feet off the road and everyone's going to see it. But, you know, 20, 50, 100 feet off the road, it's not a bad sign. But this is a giant rub. Oh my gosh. That's what we're looking for. All right, first picture, little buck, another buck, armadillo. Big doe. Wow, that's a funky looking buck. That's really cool. More does. Oh, my dates are really off, I just realized. You know, not to say I'm going to hunt right off the side of the road, because some management areas, they have rules that it has to be 100 feet or 100 yards away from the road. But again, it's just intel, you know. That's a giant rub. You only come across those big rubs and those big trees every once in a while, and you know, that's super fresh. And so I would love to see what kind of buck is hitting that. You know, typically I feel like the bigger the tree, the bigger the buck. I know a lot of people say that's a wise tale, but I don't believe it. I think the little tiny trees are for the little bucks. And granted, I have seen big 8 points check out rubs on little twig trees. But I don't know. I just feel like when there's a giant tree like that, it's a big buck. But I guess time will tell. Hopefully, I'll get a picture of them before I upload this video. We'll see. It's 5:46. I got 2 hours of light left, and I got all my camera gear, so I kind of want to stay out. I know these deer are going to be moving. I just saw a couple of does before I left, and couldn't get a shot of them. But I mean, it's just been a gamey day. It's really nice out, so I think I'll drive around. I got a couple non-cell, just regular SD cameras in the truck, and I want to get them out because it's better to be out in the woods than sit in the closet and collect dust, because it's not doing its job if it's just in your closet. So I want to get these out, get some. I would love to see a big buck. I love seeing big bucks when I drive around. I never find them when it's hunting season, like when it's muzzleloader season and I have a gun ready. I never ever find bucks just walking around while I'm driving in the middle of the day. But every once in a while when I'm scouting I'll find one. And so that's the goal. If I could get a video of a big buck moving around when it's raining like this, that'd be really cool. So that's weird. Was that a doe? So this time last year, I was out scouting and I saw a giant buck and it was chasing a doe. And I actually was wondering that on the way in, that, you know, what are the chances they're chasing right now? And I'm gonna have to go replay that footage later on. But if that was a doe, that would be interesting, because one was a buck, one was a doe. And that means they're starting to rut, which is a good time to hunt, but the season doesn't even start for another month. So I think it was maybe even a legal buck. Big 4-point, I'm not too sure. But as far as cell cameras, my favorite, so I've used Moultrie, Muddy, and SpyPoint, my cousins, and I got some friends that use Tactacam. Tactacam seems like a great product. It's a little expensive for me. But as far as Moultrie, Muddy, and SpyPoint, my favorite is Moultrie, then Muddy, and then my least favorite has been SpyPoint. SpyPoint's just been giving me a bunch of problems. Hard to get photos. I'll get photos like a year later. I really like Moultrie. It's really interesting. They don't have a SD card that goes into the camera, and I think they just send it. The way they send a photo to your phone is they just link to the nearest phone tower, which is pretty interesting. I think if all cell cameras didn't have an SD card, anyone who wants to steal or check a camera, they're no longer able to do that. So I think that's a really smart idea, especially for us public land hunters. Took a long turn, and the trail's literally right there. And I've been going through this shit for like 100 yards, and it sucks. Oh, fuck. It's right there. Oh, God. My gosh, I got tore up by bugs yesterday. Got bit by a wasp for the first time. Got bit by a spider, bunch of fire ants. Very painful. Florida hunting is no joke. But I hope you learned something from this video. Got a bunch of big bucks. Nothing crazy, not a lot of daytime photos, but enough to where I may just knock one this season. Well, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.